Hey there guys, my name's Wes and today we're going to be making a game in Scratch. This is going to be a game based on Agario. This is a finished one I've already made not too long ago, and it's going to look a little bit like what we're doing today. So, first things first, you're going to need to go to Scratch.mit.edu and you're going to need an account. If you already have one, that's great. If not, no worries. You can make one through the page just by clicking up here and signing up, or you can follow a link that I will be posting along with this video and sign up and be a part of my online classroom so that you can share everything you make with myself and everyone else in the classroom. But make sure you have parental permission first, and let's avoid using our real names or our full names. Yeah, once you've done that, you're going to go up here and click Create at the top. There we go. And it's going to take you to a page that'll look a little bit like this with Scratch the cat right there. So, first things first, we're going to go over here to this garbage can. We're going to click Delete and get rid of Scratch the cat because he's not who we want to be using for this right now. Then you're going to go down here to the corner and we're going to choose a backdrop. Okay, it's going to give you all these backgrounds, and the one we're going to choose is all the way down here at the bottom. It's this one right here, this XY grid 20px. Alright, click that, and then that's in your backdrops. So what we're going to need to do, you're going to click on your backdrop, make sure it's selected, highlighted blue, and we're going to go up here to backdrops where there's this paintbrush. Click on that, and make sure you've highlighted your select tool. You're going to click and drag a big box just like that so that this, again, is all highlighted in blue, and we're going to go up here and copy it, okay? You'll know it's copied because it'll give you the option to paste. Next, we're going to go down to this Choose a Sprite. We're not going to click on the cat's head. Instead, we're going to go up a little bit and click on this paintbrush. Alright, so now we have a Sprite 1 and we're on the Costumes tab right here. We're going to go up here. Actually, first, before we do that, we're going to right click on Costume 1 and select Duplicate. Okay, so now we have two empty identical costumes. On Costume 2, you're going to paste. So now you have a sprite that looks like your grid background. Okay? Okay, so now that's going to be our actual, it's kind of confusing. I know this is called your backdrop. This is going to act as our background, and it's actually going to be what's moving around. So let's rename this here. We're going to rename it, instead of Sprite 1, we'll call it Grid. Okay, now we're going to go over to the code on Grid, and we're going to do something here. Alright, we're going to go to Events. You need to grab the When Green Flag Clicked block, drag it over into your workspace there. These blocks with the bump on top, they will be the start of your code. But you're going to go over there, and you're going to go to Looks. You're going to scroll down, and this is the first thing we're going to do. We're going to grab this block here that says Go to Front Layer, drag it and connect it on the bottom of When Green Flag Clicked. We're going to change it from front to back layer. Alright, okay. So this is a little bit way too small. So what I want to do is make it bigger. But we have to be a little bit tricky about the way we do it. So before, I had you duplicate an empty costume, and then your costume 2 should be your actual grid costume. But the reason I did that, I'm going to go back over here, you don't have to do this. I'm going to unselect that. Go back to grid, because it looks like we had an issue here. Okay. I'm just going to drag that right in the middle. Alright. Now the reason we did that is because that sprite is so big. If I want to change this to say 700% size, when I click the green flag, it's not going to actually get that big. See, it's only going to get to 150. So what we're going to do is you're going to build your script out like this. So you're going to need a when green flag clicked, go to back layer. Then we're going to switch to costume 1, set size to 700%. I usually do anywhere between 5 and 700%. And then switch costume to costume 2. So this way, we can kind of trick the system and let it make this grid bigger than it would normally let us. The reason we're doing that is because this costume we have for it is so big it fills the whole screen. It's not going to let us make it that big. So this is a little workaround to get around it. If you're having any difficulty, just try go to your backdrop, copy your grid, and try pasting it again. Sometimes it just goes away, or it gets dragged over here. But now that we've done that, the one more thing we're going to need to do is go to motion, this top blue circle here, go to X and Y, drag that right under there. We're going to change X to 0 and Y to 0. So now when we click the green flag, our grid's going to be right there in the center to start. That's all we're going to do for now. Okay. Next up, you're going to go to choose a sprite, and again, you're going to go to the paintbrush. Click on the paintbrush, it'll take you to costumes, and we're going to draw what our starting sprite's going to be. So click on the circle, alright, go up here and pick what color you'd like to start as. I'll do, here, green. And you're going to click on outline, it's got this red line through it, click on that, and I'm going to change it all the way down to black, and I'll bump the size up to maybe 10. Okay, then I'm going to hold down shift, click, and drag. There we go. So the reason I hold down shift is because if I don't, it makes you can make an oval. If you hold down shift, it'll make a perfect circle. But you're going to need one circle, click on your select tool, drag it over, and just make sure that the cross in the center of your circle snaps right into the crosshair there, so it starts dead center. Okay, then we're going to go back to code. We're going to do just what we did before. You're going to click on events, when green flag clicked, motion, we're going to go to X 0, Y 0. Okay, so now click the green flag. There we go, starting nice and in the center there. So now we need to make everything move around, right? Now I said at the beginning of the video, we're not actually going to be moving this sprite here. Let's give that a name. I'll call it I guess, agar. Alright, so we're not going to be moving this circle around. It's actually, if you played Agario, you'll notice maybe that your character always stays in the center of the screen, and it's the background that's moving around. So the way we're going to do this in Scratch is go back to our grid, make sure that's highlighted blue. We're going to go to control and grab a forever loop. Okay, this forever loop block, it looks kind of like an alligator's mouth. Click on that, drag it, snap it right underneath at the bottom of all this stuff. Make sure you're not putting it under your green flag so that your other blocks aren't inside. You're just going to want it right on the bottom. Then we're going to go to motion, up at the top, scroll down, and grab change X by 10, change Y by 10, put them inside of the forever block just like that. Okay, then we're going to go over to our operators, that's the green circle. We're going to grab the second block, or excuse me, the third block. So it's a blank circle times blank circle is a little star inside there. We're going to grab 2 of those and put them inside of the circles and change X by and change Y by. Alright, then we're going to go up 1 to sensing, and we're going to grab these 2 blocks, mouse X and mouse Y. Right, you're going to put mouse X and change X by, and mouse Y and change Y by. Alright, and then in the second circle, we're going to put a number. Let's start with let's start with 0.02. Do the same number for both, 0.02. Alright, and then when we click the green flag, it looks like our little character is moving, but it's really the background is moving, and it's exactly in the center. And if you'll notice, if I go down to the corner, it goes up to the top. If I go up to the top, it goes down to the bottom. So that's kind of like inverted controls. It's going to go the opposite direction. If you don't want it to go the opposite way, if you want it to go where your mouse is actually pointing, just put a little negative or minus sign in front of your number. Do that for both. Then it's going to follow your mouse around. Oops. Alright. Now the reason we have go to back layer right there is, if you notice what I just did, I accidentally clicked on the background, which then brought it up in front of our character, so we can't see it moving around. So then if I click the green flag, it goes back to the background. Alright, so now we have kind of the skeleton for our game. We have a little ball that's moving around, but that's not much of a game. So what we're going to do is go to choose a sprite, again, click on the paintbrush, and we're going to make I guess the little food, or the blobs that you eat in Agario. So again, go to fill, pick whatever starting color you want. This one doesn't matter quite as much because we'll be changing it up a little bit. I'm going to change that down to 10. Again, hold shift, drag your circle, and make sure it's centered. Then once you've done that, go back to code. As always, we're going to grab a when green flag clicked, and this one is going to get a little bit trickier. Okay, not too much, not too bad. You're going to go like this. Alright, you're going to go grab a forever block, a wait 1 seconds block. You can change the time in there if you'd like, and we're going to go create clone of myself. So now when the green flag's clicked, every second it's going to make a copy of this little sprite. I'm going to name him or it blob. Okay, so now every second it's going to create a clone of this blob. We're also going to go up to looks and scroll down. We're going to grab this hide block. So when the green flag is clicked, it's going to hide the original, and every second it's going to create a clone. Go to control, scroll down to when I start as clone, drag it right there, and we're going to go up. Let's go to motion first. So we're going to want it to go to a random position when it starts as a clone. And we're going to go to looks, and we're going to want it to show, so we want to be able to see it. Then we're going to go to let's start just with that. So let's see what happens. Let's click this green flag. See all these circles pop up, but if you notice, they're all moving. It looks like they're doing the same exact, they're moving the same exact time our guy is. So we need to change that, right? And the way we're going to do that is by going to our grid, and inside this forever block, you're just going to right click, duplicate it. So now we've made a copy. Click on the top of that, drag it over to our blob, not our agar, just on our blob, drop it in there. Then we can get rid of this in our grid, go over to blob. We're going to grab this forever and put it right underneath show. So now if we click our green flag, see, they're moving around in the background with us, but if they touch the edge, it just kind of pulls them in, so we end up with this big cluster. So we're going to need to do two things. And you know what? When our agar touches them, they just go over top, nothing happens. So this is what we'll do. You're going to go back to control. You're going to grab two if-then blocks. Not if-then else, not the one that looks like a sandwich, the one that looks like a dinosaur's mouth. Grab two of those, put them inside of forever, underneath change y by. Not on top, not with them inside, underneath. Okay? Then we're going to go to sensing. You're going to grab this first block right up here, touching mouse pointer. Grab two of those and put them inside of your if-then blocks. Okay, let's change the top one to agar and the bottom one to edge. Okay, you're going to go to control. You're going to grab two, delete this clone blocks, put them inside of both of your if-then blocks, and you're going to scroll up. We're going to grab one, wait 1 seconds. We're going to change the 1 seconds to 0.01 seconds. Alright, so now click this flag here, and if we grab it, they disappear. If they touch the edge, they disappear, so they're not all just piling up at the bottom. But when we're eating all this food, nothing happens. So we got to go back to our agar, and we're going to grab a forever block, put it right underneath your go-to x and y. Then we're going to grab an if-then block, put it inside of forever. We're going to go back to sensing. Again, the same block as before, touching mouse pointer. Change mouse pointer to blob. Then we'll go to looks, the purple circle up here, and change size by 10. You might not want to keep it as change size by 10, but I'll just show you what happens there. So now every time you touch one of these blobs, you get bigger. It's a little too big. I mean, if you want it that big, you go ahead, keep it that way. I'm going to change it to 2. Alright, and if you notice, I started already really big. So we're going to go set size to 100%. We're going to put it on top of forever, underneath when green flag clicked. So now we start small again, and you work your way up slowly. Okay? And the last couple things we're going to do, these ones are optional. Your game is done. It works, but we're going to make it a little more fun. We're going to go to variables down here, the orange circle at the bottom. We're going to make a new variable. We'll call it score for all sprites. Okay. And we're going to grab set my variable to 0. Put it underneath when green flag clicked, not inside of forever. Change my variable to score. Make sure it starts at 0. Then we're going to grab change my variable by 1. So you got to make sure that your set to is on top of forever, and your change by is inside. We're going to change my variable to score, and instead of changing it by 1, let's change it by 10. And if you want, you can change the way this looks. I'm going to make a large readout. I'm going to try to center it a little bit more. Large readout. Alright. Actually, that's not centered. There we go. Okay. So, there you go. Now every blob you get bigger, your score increases. But let's go over to blob here, and looks. Let's go, here we go, change color effect by. So, you can grab change color effect by 25 and put it inside of when I start as a clone. Then we'll go back to operators, the green circle, and we'll grab pick random 1 to 10. And let's change 1 to 25. 10 to, let's say, 300. There we go. So now every blob will start as a different color. There's a whole bunch of different modifiers you can do. In fact, I'm going to do one last one. I'll see if I can do it really quickly. Here's what we're going to need to do. We're going to go to Control. We're going to grab a wait 1 seconds block, put it inside, underneath when green flag clicked, on every single sprite. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to go grab a repeat 10, change it to, say, 50, and looks will change. We're going to grab a change color effect by 25, change 25 to 2. I'm going to change color effect to pixelate, and here we go, set color effect to 0. So we're going to change set color effect into set pixelate effect, change effect to 100, and actually this is supposed to be -2, so change that to -2. We'll go when green flag clicked. So now our game starts. You start out kind of pixelated. You can do the same thing if you'd like. You can duplicate this. Oops. You can grab another set color effect. Do the same thing you just did, except I'm going to change this to ghost. And I'm going to change this to ghost. So now you fade in, start out invisible and pixelated. There you go. It's a nice kind of way to start your game. When you're done, you can add whatever modifiers, whatever else you can think of. If you'd like to go back into your costumes, you can take the paintbrush, you can decorate it a little bit more, make it have kind of like maybe some spikes. However you'd like. Go ahead, make this your own. But when you're done, you're going to click Save Now. You're going to go up here to where it says Untitled, and we're going to give it a name. So I'm going to call this gar.io, and click Share. If you don't want to share it, you can just click See Project Page, but then it's going to take you to this here. Oop, there you go. And that's your game. Pretty simple, not too difficult, but kind of interesting one. Yeah, again, when you're done, you can go down here. You can either copy this link and you can share it in the Club Hub Facebook page, or you can click on Add to Studio, and you'll have one here that says Club Hub Projects, and I'll probably make another one that says Agario if you're in the classroom, and you can share them that way too. I'd love to see them. Oh, I didn't gar.io. Yeah, so then we'll probably, if you noticed in the game I made at the start, there was a like a start menu. We might do a lesson where I just show you how to do all those kinds of extra things to your games, like make stores and start menus and different screens like that. But yeah, when you're done, you're done. You can go ahead, go explore some more games. This week, I believe Friday, I'm going to post another video, kind of like a top-down shooter. This one will be a more of like a tower defense or base defense game, and then in a week or two, I'm going to post a more top-down shooter, kind of like this one, where you're a character moving around the screen, and there's all these little enemies popping up, and you have to stop them from attacking you. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think, and stay safe. Bye now.